On this episode, we start off 2023 by hearing from listeners around the world about what they miss most about Thailand.
So if you're gearing up for your return to the kingdom, you'll love this episode of the Bankgok Podcast.
Sawadee Krap, and welcome to the Bankgok Podcast. My name is Greg Jorgensen, a Canadian who recently discovered the pleasures of egg coffee in Vietnam, and now I'm wondering what the hell's wrong with Thailand that it's not readily available here.
You ready to start the Vietnam podcast?
I'm ready to start the Vietnam imported egg coffee shop.
The Saigon podcast? I wonder if they'd let you call it the Saigon podcast.
Well, they've already got the Saigon ear, so maybe
Okay.
not.
And I'm Ed Knuth, an American who came to Thailand on a one-year teaching contract 22 years ago. Fell in love with peeling off stickers in Thai to get to the ingredients in English underneath, so I left.
I think we've all been there.
It makes me feel so deviant. You know, I'm secretly, I'm down the aisle and I make sure no one's looking and I'm scratching off the label
Looking
in
over your
Thai.
shoulders for the guy.
That's
Some
basically
16-year-old kid's going to come out and yell at me.
All right, we want to give a big thanks to all of our patrons who support the show. Patrons get our ad-free regular show a day early, behind-the-scenes photos of our interviews, a heads up to send questions to upcoming guests, and access to our Discord server to chat with me, Greg, and other listeners around the world. But best of all, patrons also get an unscripted, uncensored bonus episode every week where we riff on current events and Bangkok topics. On this week's bonus show, we chatted about a few differences that Greg noticed between Thailand and Vietnam after his recent vacation to our neighbor to the east, the embarrassing but entirely predictable backtracking of a government COVID mandate last week, and a segment of Weed Watch where we discuss some Big Brother-style changes coming to those who purchase the devil's lettuce. Or maybe not coming. We'll have to wait and see. To learn how to become a patron, click the support button at the top of our website.
That's right. And as always, if you have a comment, a show idea, or just want to say hi, head to BangkokPodcast.com and click the little microphone button on the bottom right to leave us a voicemail that we'll play on the show. All right. Well, you may remember that on a recent show, we asked you, our listeners, to send in some voicemails, as I just mentioned, telling us what they miss most about Thailand. Now, as tourists start to come back to the country, as evidenced by the number of pasty white foreigners walking around wearing shin-high black socks with sneakers, not to mention the elephant pants, we thought it'd be nice to hear what some of our friends are looking forward to most now that they are able to come back for a visit. As everyone knows, we have the best listeners ever.
True that.
And they come from all over the world. So we thought we'd hear from them and discuss their voicemail submissions, telling us what they miss most about Thailand and what they're most looking forward to when they come back. So Ed, what do you think about this idea? I think it's pretty cool to involve our listeners in shows from time to time.
Heck yeah, it's less work for us. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Let's do more. Let's do more of these.
Yeah, let's do more. This is the listener-hosted show. We're taking another month off.
That's right. That's right.
That's right. Yeah. No, it's pretty cool. It's neat that this little function exists on our website. You just click the little microphone and it says start recording, and you can send us a voicemail directly that we'll get. So it's really neat. It's a really cool way for our listeners to reach out and get in touch with us. We got a good number of submissions from around the world. We can't play them all, but we picked some randomly from the list, and let's get into it. So we're going to play the first message from my friend Erich, who actually I knew from a movie we shot with Joe Cummings up in the mountains of Pai like 15, 16 years ago.
Cool.
So he's currently living in California, but he called in to leave us a message and tell us what he misses most about Thailand. So let's hear from Erich.
คุณ Greg ครับผมโอ้ยดีใจที่ได้เจอ You posed the question for people out there outside of เมืองไทย what is it that you miss the most about Thailand? And for me, I wholeheartedly would express that with this. The thing I most miss about Thailand is the Thai people. Their sense of wonderment, their beauty of culture, the breadth and depth of the culture and how it's connected to them, their sort of karmic outlook on life, Buddhism, karmic outlook on life, and sort of treading between Tam Di, Dai Di, Tam Chua, Dai Chua, and that belief that, what comes around goes around, and all these things are interconnected in a way which make Thais beautiful, wonderful, giving, full of hospitality. It's the only place in the world I've ever been to, and I've been to 55, 60 countries, where you can walk down a street and somebody who has no idea who you are will pull you aside and offer you something to eat or drink or whatnot. It's unlike any place in the world. So that's my quick rundown, and I hope to see you soon. I'm bouncing back and forth now. As you know, I was in Thailand for a long time, but I'm bouncing back and forth now, paving my way for a return. And ยังไงก็อีกไม่นานก็เจอกันใหม่นะเพื่อน
Damn, he should get a job with the TAT.
He says a lot of good stuff. He's one of those guys that I'd probably hate if he wasn't so nice, because he speaks much better Thai than I do.
Yeah, his Thai sounds great.
Yeah. But that's a really nice one to start the show off with, because he is right. This is something that all people say about Thailand, and it's a little bit cliched and hackneyed now, but it's true, man. Especially the more you travel, it's great.
I said, one of the reasons why I stay here really is just pleasant daily interactions with Thai people.
Right, you mentioned that.
It's one of the reasons I've stayed. It just makes your day like so much easier, to just have nice, like warm interactions with people.
Yeah, and this is something actually I noticed in Vietnam, which we talked about this on the bonus show a lot, about my thoughts about Vietnam as it compares to Thailand. But man, people there, most people I interacted with in the service industry, like shopkeepers or food sellers or restaurant people or something like that, speak no English. And when you ask them something, they just sort of shrug and maybe look around for a friend. But
interesting.
Yeah, obviously it's unfair to say that to everyone in the whole country, but that was my impression. But like we said on a recent show in Thailand, at least when you ask, like, they'll try to help you, even if it's a real struggle.
No doubt. I feel like here almost everyone has very basic English. It's not always good, but they have the basics.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And they're more than happy to go out of their way to at least try. Maybe if they can't help you, then find someone who can hand you off to them. So yeah, thanks, Eric. That was really cool. All right, let's hear from our buddy George. Where's George calling in from? I forget where you are, George, but let's hear him.
Hey there, this is George from Portugal. Where I miss the most about Bangkok in general is what I like to call 7-Eleven dogs, which were whenever I would go fetch a sandwich or something on the local 7-Eleven, I would always have a couple of dogs waiting, and I would just give them a little bit of my sandwich or a little bit of whatever I was eating, and we just shared the moment, and it was, really cool.
That's funny, man. I never thought of the dogs that sit outside of 7-Eleven as sharing a moment. But hey, man, that's cool, and it is funny because we all seen those soy dogs. They're maybe just a little bit smarter than their colleagues, and they're the ones that sit outside the 7-Eleven door to get the air conditioning every once in a while.
It actually makes me feel a little bit guilty that George has had all these moments that I've missed out on.
That's very generous of you, George.
Yeah, for sure. Apparently, I could have a lot more friends than I do have.
Yeah, no doubt. You have an army of soy dogs. Man, I think I've said this show before, but I remember years ago when I used to run in Lumpini Park, I bought some of that isan sai ua, the sort of like garlicky sausage that they cook on the barbecue.
Oh, right, sure.
I was eating it, and really, I love them, and I was eating it, and there was a little dog sort of sitting there watching me, so I got halfway done, and I thought I'd give the rest of my sausage to the dog, and I held it out for him, and he sniffed it, and he walked away. I was like, what the hell am I eating?
Oh, that is funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks, George.
Yeah, thanks, George. Sounds like you have more success with giving dogs snacks than I do. That is cute, though. I like the dogs that sit out there and just sort of look at you when you walk in. All right, let's hear from our buddy Jett.
Hey, guys. Jett Malone calling from Los Angeles. What do I miss in Thailand? It's a who, maybe. I miss the Ministry of Rural Roads. When you're riding around the backwoods, the back roads all over, who do we think? The most underappreciated department, the Ministry of Rural Roads. That's what I miss.
All right, I got to admit, that was pretty odd, but I think maybe he's got a point. Maybe he's got a point.
The Ministry of Rural Roads, man. As someone who has has ridden my share of motorbikes in the north and northwest of Thailand, and talked to our buddy Dan, who owns the travel company Smiling Albino. Thailand has some of the best motorcycle riding in Asia. It's really, really good. The roads are well maintained, they're smooth, and Bangkok's horrible, or Thailand's horrible traffic record notwithstanding, it's really, really pleasant to drive in places that have no business being that pleasant to drive in.
Sure. No, I've been on those roads. I haven't ridden a motorbike or motorcycle on them, but I have. I did rent a car and drive all over northern Thailand. So, and those roads are good. They really are. Now, I wonder how much. So I was up in more like Chiang Mai region. I know that in Isan, allegedly, a lot of the roads were built by the U.S. like Corps of Engineers, like Army engineers or something like that. But I don't know if that's true I don't know if that's true in Chiang Rai. But either way, someone's got to maintain the roads, no matter who built them. And so I will second his appreciation, although it's not something I would have thought of myself.
Yeah, it was a bit out of left field, but it makes sense. You're right. And
it absolutely does.
I haven't ridden much in Isan either, but I've been told that the roads going, down from the Golden Triangle through Loei and Udon Thani and Nakhon Phanom and stuff like that are also really, really beautiful. So, yeah, man, all hail the Department of Rural Roads.
Heck yeah. Thank you, Jett.
All right, let's hear from Joe L.
Hey guys, this is Joe from New York. So you asked us about what we missed from Thailand. I know for my wife, it's probably her family. It's been about 5 years since she's seen them, but that's going to change soon. Her parents are going to be coming back with us in a few weeks. And then for me, as far as food goes, it's got to be durian. I love durian, and it's very hard to get over here unless you're willing to pay a ton of money, and it's not exactly fresh compared to the durian that I had back in 2018. We got it at this market in Rayong and had that with some coffee from 7-Eleven in the morning for breakfast, and it was perfect. So I can't wait to have that when I come back in January. It's going to be one of my 24-hour goals as soon as I land. Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, man, kudos to Joe. Like, you don't often see a foreigner who's super gung-ho about digging into some stinky durian, so that's
right. Both Greg and I are not fans, but I do appreciate foreigners who are into it. You're right. There's, compared to Thai people, obviously fewer foreigners are into it. But man, I have a couple friends who like it, and I think once you go durian, man, you never go back.
Yeah, maybe. I keep sort of flirting with the idea of just sort of motorboating my way through a big plate of durian one day and just sort of convincing myself that it's really good, because there's got to be something there. Like, I've had it before and it's not awful.
Maybe if you eat it every day for 60 days, your taste will change.
Well, we did a show once where we tried it on pizza when Pizza Company came out with durian pizza. I
do remember that.
So I'm not a big fan of them doing like weird culinary Frankenstein experiences with it, but on its own, I think there's probably, once you get used to the taste, like you said, you probably become quite a connoisseur.
Well, more power to Joe, even though I don't get it.
Yeah, and Joe and his wife are going to have a baby soon. So, yeah, congratulations, Joe.
Cool, congratulations.
And Mrs. Joe, yeah. All right, let's hear from someone who is, despite his name, not related to me, but he's a listener of the show, and he's a friend of mine that I met because he's a listener of the show, and it just turns out that we have the same name. This is our buddy Paul.
Hi, this is Paul Jorgensen. I'm now located in the United States, and one of the things I miss most about Bangkok is just the graphic and intensity of the way promotions are done in things like malls. They've done it to the highest degree. If you want to celebrate Christmas in a grocery store, have a full choir in there. If you want to open a Taco Bell, have a gigantic ceremony around the Spirit House. This is just magic, and there's something in the Thai world that makes people really want to see this kind of exciting magic. There's never anything done that's kind of halfway. And I really do miss that sort of excitement and spontaneity and surprise that you see every time there's a new promotion or there's a new holiday or something like that. Thanks a lot, guys.
Wow, another unexpected, but I get it. So this idea that in Thailand they take promotions like very seriously or intensely, as you put it, I would have to agree.
Yeah, this is funny. Thanks, Paul. That's interesting because I mean, you and Joe are going to have to come here, and Joe's going to be like, "Hey, let's go get some durian and listen to some screaming people at the boots." You know.
Yeah, but you're right. It's funny. It's like this is something I just similar to the rural roads thing. I would never have thought about it, but I understand where they're coming from. There's something. I don't know. Is it retro? Obviously in the States we do have promotions, but I feel like the kind of promotions they have in Thailand, they have a more like 1950s retro feel, like dancers or singers. I guess they still do that in the States. I don't know. I just don't remember it when I was growing up, like having like the kind of cutesy kind of, almost performances or promotions that he's talking about. So I don't know. For some reason, when I think American culture, I associate it as being like a bit passe, but I get it. Like they definitely go all out, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I am not a fan of the overly ambitious, loud, like super energetic promotions for skin cream or toenail fungus cream, whatever they're doing this week. But he's right. You do have to admire the gusto with which they undertake their task.
For sure. I mean, I often find it too loud or too crazy, or it creates a crowd. But yes, I do appreciate the gusto. That's a good word for it. They do go 100%.
That's right there. It's like, what are you selling there? Hair dye? I'll give you a goddamn hair dye promotion. Here you go.
That's right.
All right, next up we have our pal Tank. I like that name, man. He stole it from me. Got it first.
Great name.
What does Tank have to say?
Hey, what's up? This is Tank from Southern California. I'm actually bummed because I couldn't make the meetup on December 10th. Last time I went to a meetup was back in December 2019. But fear not, I am actually in Thailand right now. I'm actually in Koh Samui. Me and my wife left to Koh Samui on December 10th. So unfortunately, we couldn't make the meetup, but I'm hoping to catch a future meetup. Just want to say what's up to Greg and Ed. Love the podcast. Hope to catch you guys in the future. This is Big Tank from Southern California. Peace.
Well, and you may have noticed that Tank actually didn't mention anything specifically he misses about Thailand, but he did mention specifically missing our meetup.
That's right.
So that's why I thought we'd include that there.
Absolutely. So what Tank misses most about Thailand is Bangkok Podcast meetups, for sure.
Pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Like that's a nice specific
I like that.
thing to me.
In this whole country, the thing he misses the most are our meetups. We managed to have like more or less 2 meetups like in the last 6 months, because we had our initial one that was a success, even though it was a pouring rain. And then we had another one, which also was a success in better weather on the river. So he's got to get his act together. He's got to make one of these.
Although I do have to say, he missed our last meetup, which he said has better weather on the river, which was great. But at the time, he was sitting on a beach on Koh Samui, like he said. So I think it's
true that. But if he misses our meetups, man, he's got to make a choice. It's either the beach on Samui or like one of our unbelievable meetups.
Yeah, there you go, Tank. Well, next time, ditch the beach, come to our next meetup, and we'll catch up. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
All right, next we're going to listen to Mr. Joe P.
One thing I miss about Bangkok and Thailand in general is kind of intangible, and it's this sense of things where you don't really know if they're indoors or outdoors, because they're both or they're neither. You go into a restaurant and it has 4 walls, but the walls don't reach the roof. Or, there's escalators kind of outdoors in parks. Or I think even I was in an airport once and the security line started outside and ended inside. And, I miss that.
All right, here we go again with something I never would have thought of, but I totally understand what he's talking about. You know what this reminds me of? The first time I went to the Sofitel in Hua Hin. So it's a quite famous hotel.
Right.
It's connected. It's connected to like an old train station or something like that. But I showed up at the hotel. It was I think I was about 10 days in Thailand, and I get to the hotel, and it just looks like a pavilion or something. And I kind of walk in, and I'm like, "Where's the check-in? Like, where's the hotel? It's supposed to be right here." And there's just no walls at all.
Right.
And then I asked someone, like, where do I check in? And they're like, well, the desk is right next to you, dude. It's like right there. And I'm like, this is it? Like, this is the lobby?
Yeah.
Like, I was looking around. And it was like open on like 2 or 3 sides. And I'm like, wait, this is the lobby? It's like we're or outdoors, you know. So I know exactly. So this is a very early impression I had of Thailand, is that it's so hot, it's so damn hot that it's like houses have like outdoor kitchens. Like there is this different approach to indoors and outdoors, for sure.
Right. You're right, Joe. This is a great one. And this is something that you don't really appreciate until it's pointed out, like right here. But like for me, it's just a reminder that we're so lucky to be living in such a balmy climate that we can be basically outside all the time. You're never really inside unless you go into like a shopping mall or a condo or something like that.
That's right.
Even when you're inside, you're still outside because there's free flowing air. You're sheltered from the rain.
For sure.
But it just is a reminder, like, this doesn't happen in Canada. The climate will kill you.
For sure.
If you don't have walls.
No, when I walk out of my classrooms at my university, I'm outside. Like all the hallways are open to an inner courtyard. So there's no walls. My university is open, just like Joe P is talking about. So I can relate. And it is kind of cool. I mean, it's all about the weather, but it is a cool aspect of, I guess, Thai architecture. It's a cool thing.
Right. Now, poison air during the end of the year notwithstanding.
True that.
Yeah, I remember when I was teaching at my first school, I remember they were thinking about putting in air conditioning in all the classrooms because it was non-air conditioned. And it was a big deal, man. Some parents were like dead set against it.
Against it?
They're like,
why?
Yeah, they're like, no, like all the recirculating germs and everyone's going to be getting sick. Like, let the air flow, man.
Interesting.
Yeah, like the spice in Dune. All right, our last submission is from someone that longtime listeners will know very well. This is all the way from Arizona, our buddy Evo.
I think I've heard of this guy.
I miss being on the Bankgok Podcast. Hey, it's me, Evo. Hi, Greg. Hi, Ed. Hope things are going really well for everyone over there. Yeah, that's the thing that I miss, being on the show. Don't forget about me.
Oh, that's nice to hear, man. We miss you being on the show too. I hope you're doing well in the United States of Hysteria there, but it was cool to hear from you. And of course, Evo, for those that don't know, Evo was the season 2 co-host of the Bankgok Podcast.
The season 2 co-host, and that was a sweet message, Evo. Thanks a lot. Evo did a lot to kind of, I think, upgrade the podcast. I think season 1 was great, but I think it was you and Tony like on the side of the road with like a string between two like cups. That was basically
trying to figure stuff out. Yeah,
that was basically the season 1 of the Bankgok Podcast. And Evo brought some professional knowledge and experience to the game.
Totally, undoubtedly. Yeah, he came in and was like, all right, here's how you sort of formalize things and get things going on. So Evo was very instrumental in that. So
he got your shit together so then I could come in and benefit from all the work you guys did.
Standing on the shoulders of Evo's.
That's right.
Yeah. And we also have to step on our game too, Ed, because we send out postcards to our $5 patrons and above. But Evo does the same thing with his wife, Sheila. And I just got his postcard the other day, and the postcard is a picture of him and Sheila on the postcard. So we've got to take a nice little portrait of ourselves or something so we can copy that and send it out to our patrons. But thanks, Evo. That was it was great to hear from you. And we miss you here too, buddy. We hope to see you in person soon.
For sure.
Yeah. So big thanks to everyone who sent in their voice messages. There's a few we didn't get to, but we really enjoy hearing from our listeners. And it's so great to know that we have people from all over the world tuning in. And yeah, man, everyone's got one thing in common. They love Bangkok. They love Thailand. And we hope that we can see you when you are in town.
Definitely.
Right on. All right, let's get into love, loathe, or live with, where one of us picks a particular aspect of living in Bangkok, which we discuss to decide if it's something we love about living here, loathe about living here, or have come to accept as something that we just have to learn to live with no matter how we feel about it. The last time Ed asked me whether I preferred the Thai or Western justice system, so this week it's over to me.
Hit me, baby.
All right, now this is something that I thought about while I was in Vietnam, Ed, and it's not so much a love, loathe, or live with as it is a what's your tolerance for this thing? But when you are at a busy tourist attraction, in Vietnam, there's a lot of places, but for our purposes here, let's say the Grand Palace or Wat Po or Siam Square or something like that. What is your level of tolerance and how much do you love, loathe, or can you live with tourists who expect people to stay out of their little bubble of taking a photo of someone in their group?
Interesting. Okay, that's pretty specific. I would just say in general, I've just never liked heavily touristed places. And it's not because I'm some kind of snob or anything like that. I just find them kind of stressful and annoying. And I would say I don't like it. I mean, of course, you try to be polite. So there's a million people around, 20% of the people are trying to take a photo. So sometimes you just accidentally get in someone's way, or you're supposed to be constantly paying attention. And, so I would say I don't have a lot of tolerance, but I do try to not be a jerk. But just in general, like crowded tourist places, it's just the last place I want to be. Like I just, specifically this whole idea of getting out of people's way to take photos. It's like, of course, I'll do the right thing. But normally I'm just pissed off and annoyed before that even happens. You know what I mean? Normally I'm like, no, I'm a pretty grumpy tourist because normally when I go to these places, I'm going there duty bound because I'm with someone else who wants to go there.
Right. Like,
my mom is like, I have to go to this temple. And I'm like, Mom, you really don't. You just don't have to go there. But no, it's on the list. It says,
Right. When I was in Vietnam, I'm like you. I try to do the right thing, and I have a certain amount of tolerance for it. But if you're standing on like a crowded place and you expect no one to walk by you for like 30 or 40 seconds, go to hell, man. I'll give you 10 seconds to take a photo, and then
I'm with you.
And not everyone is not able to get out of your way for the entire duration of your picture.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, but let me tell you something that I definitely loathe.
Okay.
It's when people don't respect my personal space when I'm taking a picture. That's really annoying.
Cuts both ways, right?
That's really annoying. Well, actually, I have an example. Everyone knows I've been, I don't know if how many, all the listeners know, but I've been shooting some street videos that will show up as future Bankgok Podcast materials. And man, sometimes I'm shooting like an interview on the street. Okay, it's video, so it's longer than a photograph. But I've had people just walk right in between. So I have someone on camera talking to the camera. I've got like a semi-professional camera rig. It's fairly clear that we're recording live video, and someone just walks right in between us.
Right. Yeah.
That might be you, Greg. So what you're saying is that's you, because you don't give respect to private space. So I loathe you, Greg.
I do for a little bit if it's obvious. Like when I was in Vietnam, there was one hotel we were in, and there was this big fountain, and we were walking to get our train, and there was a woman who was live streaming apparently, and I didn't notice that she was just this woman just standing there.
So you walked right in front of her,
right into it, and she screamed, "No!"
That's me. That's exactly what when people could. So yeah, okay. So I loathe you. That's my position.
Fair enough. But she had been there for a while, and there was nothing obvious that she was filming. So
I see.
It was an accident. But I think if you're taking a photo in a crowded place, you can expect a few seconds of peace. But after that, I think you're on your own.
That's right. We should, a little corollary to this is when other people ask you to take a picture. Again, I always oblige. I'm nice. I smile, but I don't really want to do it. Like I don't want to do that.
You should do what a jerk friend of mine used to do. He used to turn the phone around and take a picture of himself, and then give it to them and goes, "There you go," and then walk off.
That's great. Well, I'm not that bad about it, but in general, I'm a pretty grumpy tourist. It's just the way I am.
All right. If you see Ed out and you're wearing some elephant pants, don't approach him.
Yeah. Leave me alone. All right. A final thanks to all of our patrons who support the show. Patrons get a ton of cool perks and the warm, fuzzy feeling knowing that they're helping support the show. Find out more by clicking support on our website. And connect with us online. We're Bankgok Podcast on social media, BangkokPodcast.com on the web, or simply BangkokPodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from our listeners and always reply to our messages.
True that. You can also listen to each episode on YouTube. You can send us a voicemail through our website that will feature on the show as we do this one. Or you can even reach out to me directly on Twitter where I am BKK Greg. Thanks for listening, everyone. Happy New Year. And we will see you back here next week.
No doubt.